So this is under the PACD program. This is our mini poultry abattoir. It used to be a rice mill. After the rice mill was removed from here some years ago, we decided to make use of the building and turn it into a poultry processing area. So we've done some modifications to the inside. I think as you see the boys that work here, they're just finishing up on dressing the birds in preparation for us to now cut them up into pieces. So we've come at a really good time to actually have a look at what they actually do here. So everything is done behind closed doors. The boys that come into work, when they come in the morning, they go in and they're there until they process everything. They clean up, they come out, and then they go back in for cutting it up into pieces. So we are located in Vimi Plantation, in a ward known as the Londip ward. So we're in the Kokopo district, I think Bitapaka LLG. So if we come this way, you probably have an opportunity to have a look at what's on the inside, but this is all pretty recent. The inside is what we modified. The building itself, existing building and stuff look before. So maybe you guys can come this way, we can have a look. Mangi clean up stuff, Wanda dot tolen. Kasi mo semtol na. So this is where everything happens. So we've got the actual killing cones there where we started off. So what normally happens is we bring the chickens in and then we hang them up on the killing cones here. So once we bleed them out here, we then take them to the scalding pot in the corner and then to the defeathering machine. And then from there it comes up onto the tables and the guys remove all the evisceration, do the evisceration. So when it's all done, I think it's all in the SK. All stuff inside, yeah? Okay, so these are the modifications we did. We run some floor drains in, we tiled up the entire area. We fit in some lights, fans and everything, and once they've done dressing, this is what it looks like. So we dress them up, ready for cutting up into pieces now. So normally what happens is if there is a customer that wants dressed birds, like for example, say Tropicana, and what we normally do is we get some ice down here so we can transport whole dressed birds and take them up with ice. But because we are cutting them up immediately after we dress them and freeze them, stop close to, we just take it down straight away. So it's like when we need to, we put ice, but otherwise, as soon as it comes up here, by clean up we start the cutting process now. So I'll cut them all something up into pieces straight away. It's a relatively small setup, but it does do a lot of work in it. So once they're organized now, they'll set up the wrapping machine to wrap it up, and then we should be able to. But these are the youths that work in here, so when we can story good one time leader belong Laura side.
Okay, you quickly run me through the process again.
Okay, the process, what normally happens is we harvest a batch of chickens to bring down, normally 3 sheds at a time, so it fits in the back of our truck. So tripla banis kakarup, mipla harvesti mikam, we bring them into the holding pen on the outside. We'll go and have a look at that later on. So from the holding pen, we normally deliver it the day before so that these guys can come here first thing in the morning, pick up the chickens, and then they take it through here. So they come this way, they hang them up in all of these cones. So we do 12 at a time. There's 12 killing cones here. Hang them up in each of the cones, and then we've got 2 boys that do they cut the neck to actually bleed out the chickens. So we bleed them out here. What happens, it bleeds off here into the dishes, and then we send them down through the drain. So when we go outside, we'll show you how we have our grease trap there that captures any rubbish and how it goes into the absorption fence and so forth. So when you're passing by on the road, you won't even notice that we are processing chickens here because there's hardly any smell, nothing like that at all. So we have everything that bleeds out into the dishes from here. A scalding pot is set up on the table at the back there. We've got a thermometer that we use to actually monitor the temperature, because in order for us to be able to clean pluck like this, the temperature of the water needs to be just right. So we've got a A thermometer there, mi plus ayusim lo check him temperature blo wara before mi plus scold him all kakaru. So if you set the temperature right, as soon as you put the chicken into the scalding pot and remove it and you throw it into the defeathering machine, it should clean dress the chicken to get it to this level that we have here. So when it's out from the defeathering machine, it comes up onto the table, and then we have our guys here who then operate it to eviscerate the chickens now. So once the evisceration process is done, we wash them down, clean them up, put it in here, and then what normally happens is before we cut into pieces, we quickly do a clean up to remove any rubbish that we have here down into the drains, flush everything out, and then we take the stuff back out and put it on top. In any normal situation, we would have had a separate room that does the cutting up to pieces, but because we don't have that privilege, we normally do is once we've dressed everything as whole birds, we then do a quick wash down, clean up, disinfect, and then now we come back again and we start again, cutting it up into pieces. So from here, what happens is once they cut it up into pieces, they pack it into these containers here, and then we run them down to the fridges, which are down at my place, down at the house. So we've got 3 big chest freezers there where we store them straight away. As soon as they're cut up, we move them down and put them straight into the freezer. Now freezer now, walk long and hold. So that's everything in a nutshell on how we actually operate.
When did you start the abattoir? The machinery, where did you buy them from, and how much did it cost to set up?
The only bit of machinery particularly to do with the poultry processing that we have in here is the defeathering machines. Maybe later you can go and have a look at them. We've got 2 here. So one is a relatively new one. One was an old one that I had from before. So we bought this equipment from Tropicana. So Tropicana was good enough to bring this equipment in for us. So what we try to do is, because it's we only have 2 of these, we try to make sure that we don't overload it in terms of its capacity to process. So we normally do 2 birds at a time. So we throw 2 birds in there and then they both spin at the same time. Anything more than that, we might overload the actual system. So we do 2 at a time, dress them up and then put them on top. These killing cone setup here, we built ourselves. We basically just drew the designs up and we got our guys to sort of manufacture this. So we've got a few of these sets that we've set up there in case anything happens. So if mipla using this lago na eventually one blalol cone ya bagarap, we've got a few of these cones there. We just unscrew the bolts, take this off, replace it. Or if we're dealing with much bigger chickens, then there are bigger cones that we've built where we can just unscrew these, take it off, put the bigger cones on so we can set them in. Because normally when we put them down, the head is supposed to come out at the bottom here. So the reason why we have this killing cone is to stop them from moving around when we cut them. And the reason why we're getting this nice clean meat like this is because we're able to bleed the chicken out. If we don't bleed it out, you'll see that it'll have a reddish sort of color to it because masin em dipederim now em bulut tapet lo skin. So lo here we remove all the blood here. So once mi plakatim neck blem na bleed him out, there's a specific spot where mi plasakat long. Then we put it into the scalding pot now. So the scalding pot is just a normal pot, that's all. The only thing is that we've got a thermometer. Thermometer kan pastem? So we've got a thermometer that we use to just check the temperature of the water. So we normally just dip it into the water and check the temperature to confirm that it is. Like I said, the only way we can get it to this level is if the temperature of the water is right. And that's the important part. So it's usually between 50 and 60 degrees. So it's basically not going to burn the skin, it just softens the stem of the feathers. So when it goes into the defeathering machine paitim come out. So the largest time consuming part lo disla where mi plakatim down ya em lo rausim feathers lo kakarok ya. Em machine ya na wokim na. So machine em rausim kam golo mete atamlo mi plasa puti marasay timilugi basket ya mi plasa puti all feathers lo nga. Mi pladigi mo bla pite where mi plasa disposing all feathers ya. And then we've got it properly sealed off. So like after so off amas platay mi pla wogi go now. We normally just pour some petrol in there, burn it to break it down a bit. But mi pla lugi mo sem kamatapos na we can always dig another hole. At the moment we don't have an incinerator. So we're just using a pit to put all the rubbish. So from here, this is where everything happens for the farmers now. So we're actually planning to bring our groups of farmers down here, they haven't seen this facility. They just produce the chicken. So now mi plak like organize him by mi plak simol kam lo lilugim now mi plak sa ogim kakaruplungal na kam ko. So I think that's the important part. If we get it to that now, they'll fully appreciate what we are doing. So a few of them we've brought them down, but we want to organize it so kind of some field trip type no more. Simol come down or come look in processing facility.
And could you elaborate on PACD assistance to this project?
Okay, so this building here, it was an existing building. Everything that we've retrofitted in here now, PACD now, covering this la. Kamaninit lo, one pla budget line lo mipla, where mipla include him in the very first variation that we did. Particularly because, like I said in the beginning, we didn't have any plans to set something like this up, but considering the circumstances that we had, we decided that in our very first variation, mipla apply lo, allow him some funds lo, walk him this la. So the retrofitting here probably cost around 30,000. So big pla cost lo building na lagi blam lo sa building stapinis. So we just as part of the certification process, we got the guys from the building board to come and just have a look. We've done up the actual design, the drawings for these things, and given it back to the building board so that they can then have it as on file there as a copy. So that part we fulfilled, and then we're working on the certification now. So there's still a few things we need to do here, like hang up some signs just to indicate that this is a proper processing facility, some safety messages for our workers, maybe some standard operating procedures that we're going to put up here. But otherwise, we try to have regular discussions with them to get things organized. So PACD allowed for this to happen now, you may looking at. So this facility here is a small adjustment to the actual budget that we had that enabled us to now be able to process the farmers' produce and take them to the markets that are That's all.
And I noticed on the youths here.
Yes.
Can you tell
We've
us a
got
bit more about this?
we've got these youths here. They're all part of the Vimi Plantation. I'm all youths blow inside lo yet. Like I said when we were coming down, this plantation is sort of abandoned to some extent. So all mangi stop nothing that's all. So time something come up also now, we decided to bring them on board, give them a bit of an opportunity to learn something new, and they're all very eager to. These guys have been with us from day one. We do rotate a few of them around just to give opportunities for other youths. So ano sa sambla by walk ligi go ben bami bla senis sambla narapla mangi can come inside. So at the moment we've only harvested 3 batches. We've still got another 2 that are in the field in the sheds. So after this last pla 4 pla banis by come down, there's another 20 ready by next week as well. So it should start continuing now. So I'm all youths and now there's different groups. We have was all probable youths na all young pla. So some pla all original youths pla be all walk stop inside long yan. Na beni kat all young pla mangi come back side long all now. Emo semi pla start kisimoli sisi come inside. When we go outside now, you'll be able to have an opportunity to speak to James. James is the bloke that organizes the youths here. So he should be able to give you a bit more information about they've organized and how they've set up. So yeah, we've come a long way in the last months. We only have 16 months on this project, and I think we have done quite a bit in getting it organized and taking it to this level. Yep, we'll go outside. Thank you, Bush. Okay. We'll go outside. Okay, so on the outside here, what we normally do is when the truck comes down, it backs up this way, and then we unload everything into the holding pen. So this holding pen can hold around 150 chickens, 160. So at least tripla banis kakaru kami plaksim kam, it can stay here overnight so we can work. So the reason why we built this holding pen is this is as part of a proper abattoir, you need to have a holding pen to hold your produce that comes down. So this enables us kind of say, if all mangi walk and there's still some chickens and we can't do them all today, then em stop lo panisha. We can always do it tomorrow again. So it'll be here. This is where we store them. And if you see where the drain runs down, this runs down to something we also built. So when any waste material that goes on the floor comes down, it comes into here. So this is our modified grease trap. So this grease trap here is not like all normal grease trap where, you know, things go in there and you only clean them like once every few months. This one we clean every day. So James, mitlapin browse something up as them. Put him solo side pas. So this lamb. By look him now, se molgata pipia sa kam sa pas lo basket and wara nating tasol sa go down now. So we don't want to clog up our absorption trends, so we keep the grease trap here so it catches all the feathers and everything here. And then every day after we are done working, as they clean out from them, all by clean him come, and then this is the last thing they clean out. They clean this thing out so that every day it's clean na fresh and stuff, because we leave this for more than a few days and I'm now smelled by start build up. So this is our way of saving our absorption trend so it doesn't back up with like one PPA pull up inside. So on this side now, this is the first absorption trends, and then there's a second one here. So in the event that we use so much water that no would pull mapim disla, we've got a secondary pipe that runs off this one that feeds into a lateral absorption trench on the side. So that way it also makes sure that we never have water building up all the time and everything just gets absorbed back in. Because you miss our loya, but you miss big plawara. So big plawara you miss lo clean up number there. This is how we organize it to get it through. So in terms of like conforming to health standards, this was one of the main recommendations that they told us to put in place. So we've sort of built this now to put it in place. And then like from here, one of the big things here, like I mentioned just now, is that warayam. People need big waraya. So Mipla got 9,000 liter tank tasol, but as a way to supplement the water that we require every day, we've built 2 ground bore water wells down here. We can take a walk down and we can just have a look at it. So these wells are the ones that supply the water back to the facility so that we're able to use it. We're in the process of trying to send some water samples across just to get it tested, but otherwise we can drink it. So you may go Sam. It's a bit of a walk down here, but
What's the name of this area again?
this is a Vimi Plantation.
Vimi.
Yes.
Vimi, and who used to run it before?
Richard Joycey.
Okay.
He was a white guy that used to live here. He's now passed on already.
Okay. So what, you running it now?
This particular place where this thing is set up is titled land outside of the Vimi Plantation. This belongs to my tambus here. So we live here, and this facility, they up there, the rice mill belonged to them. So we just decided to retrofit it and fix it up because it's easier for me to look after it when I live here and I can see what's going on the other side. So this place too, all of this starting from the road coming down, the water table is quite high, meaning that, you know, we can access water straight away even if we dig. So we dug these 2 wells here. Samu, when you go try and plug him tasol, when I'm a code blow, when I'm a test. So this is one of the 2 wells that we have. This we built ourselves. So this is at below this cement slab. There's a cylindrical hole that's about 1.2 meters wide, and it goes 1.2 meters in diameter, and it goes to about 9 meters. So mibla digi go down here, mibla painim wara now, and then we've sort of built all the filtration from the bottom upwards. So we've sent down a PVC pipe where the water sort of filters in through from the surrounding, and we've built in the filtration system. So we've got a submersible well pump that's sitting at the bottom of this well, and then it pumps water up and into there. So the last we measured the flow rate coming, it's actually a running stream. It's not like a stagnant aquifer. There's actually a stream that runs underneath. So as we were digging down, it's just coming off the walls of the well. So it fills up very quickly. Within 6 hours, it'll fill back up. So what we normally do is we pump the water like 20 minutes at a time. So the current flow rate based on our pump, now it's about 200 liters every 4 minutes. So 20 minutes should get us about 1,000 liters into the tank up there. And we've got 2 of them. So we pump for 40 minutes, about an hour. We get about 2,000 liters, which is enough for them to be able to use for the day. And we're pumping this like in the morning around lunchtime, and then in the evenings again. So we are not running out of any water. That's the main thing. And the water that comes out of this is drinkable water. So mipla drink him this lawara. Even the health inspector am come here, mipla pulo wara na am drink him. So I just need to take some water samples to just verify the actual content. But otherwise, he recommended that getting water from a bore water supply is probably better than anything that's running on the surface, because bacteria and all kinds of something. So we just need to get it tested now. So like what we normally do here now is we come and switch on this. Is that one closed? Pass him this lago down and pass. So it's connected to the generator down there. So now you can barely hear it. It's pumping. So where I am going now. So this thing is running all the way up to the tanks at the processing facility. So the pipes run here. So we normally run this for about 20 minutes, and that's about 1,000 liters already. I'm going inside. So saves us from having to find water, especially now time losanya. Kain walk me blog it requires a lot of water. So that's one thing about processing facilities is, especially with poultry, and by using big plawara. So we've built this one, and then we've connected the other one down there to it too. So after 20 minutes, we shut this off, open that valve, and then we run the next well on the other side. So this has allowed us to be able to continue working without any stoppages. But this is also another initiative under the PACD. And maniblo PACD and namibla build him this lawele. So mibla buy pump cement or something, buy more mangin or walk and walk.
So how much altogether did assistance altogether do you get from PACD especially for this?
For this little setup here,
Poultry.
for the poultry component.
Yeah.
So we established a separate budget line called the Poultry Market Access under our project. So we've got that one there, which is about a total of about 85,000. And slowly we've been using it to retrofit the facility, build these things, look at any equipment that we need for inside the processing facility. So it's actually, it's less than 100,000, but we've managed to do a lot of things with it to get it to where it is. And this well here, I think all up it cost about 7,000 in labor. Now when mibla dig, now all machine, all switch or something. Like we've got all the guys, all electrician, all plumber, all mangi stuff. So all work in. And all of this, we've never built anything like this anywhere else before. So I'm first time mipla work kind something else. To be honest, most of it has been looking at YouTube and figuring out how to do things.
I was just going to ask you that question. Where did you
we're getting all these ideas from YouTube. People are doing it elsewhere in the world. We might as well do it here too. So
that's what we call innovation. The world is run by YouTube and AI and everything. Yeah.
Well, I'd be happy to say that even the processing facility and how it's set up, basic designs are from YouTube. figuring out how people operate these things in their own farms and kind of. So we're just adopting, methods that have already been perfected elsewhere.
It's the way to go.
That's all. So
It's what we call smart technology.
now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is built to last forever. And basically, these submersible well pumps are forever underwater, and based on all the specs and information we've received about these things, they can be down there for 20, 30 years without having to pull it up and maintain anything. So it's consistently just submerged. And the beauty about all of this is all this equipment we didn't need to bring in from anywhere. Emi plakisim yat lo yat sol. Sosim tasol lo ya. Most of these, like this submersible well pump, plantiman no sawelo use blong em na em stop lo all hardware stop so mi plago na painim lo ngap. The only thing that we had to get from outside was the thermometer for testing the temperature blowara. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that anywhere here. Mi plat sekim lo mosbi too em. They had these other ones which were not really what we needed for the one. So luckily we have some relatives that are overseas who managed to bring that thermometer in. Now mi pla yusim lo antap. So that thermometer there plays a very big role of getting the appearance of the chicken the way it is. Suppose you yusim thermometer, na you no makim kut wara na iputi kakaruk ko na puti lo defeathering machine. Defeathering machine can burukim skin lo kakaruk na. Burukim mo lekan blong em tu. So this la thermometer em lo just walk him right marks teret na karuk kamo. But otherwise this is, thank you to the PACD em iplay covering mo liglig or something and try to set him up on black kind facility whereby help him all man. Yeah. And we've got like at the moment them all fridges all stop tam long up which we're running off the genset, but big pla container yeah. Pla gatlo market we're planning to move it down here. We might set it up somewhere here and hopefully get a big generator that can run it so the guys can take the produce just down to the fridges here without having to worry about too much. Because at the moment, like I said, our harvesting and harvesting of the produce from the field is restricted and the processing here is limited to our storage space. So like in our fridges here, we can probably hold about 600 packs of chicken, which is probably around three or four sheds or kakaruk, which means we have to be moving our stock regularly so that we can make space in there so that the next lot can come in. But if we have that freezer set up now, then we can just pack it with everything from the farms and then eventually worry about the marketing side so our harvesting can continue. But if you have a look up there, most of the guys that work up there are all just the youths from around here. And I think that's James over there is the guy that looks after him. He's just behind you there. So that's James. Later on, you guys can discuss with him and figure out what you need to talk about. But that's all.